Welcome back to the Barndominium Builder's Guide. Today's video we are going to go over the building process. It's a question everybody has. I'll literally every day walk through this with someone, and it's really the key to success is knowing the building process. So it's really the greatest question you can ask. So we're going to answer it, and in answering it, I think it's going to do two things. One, it's going to help those who are trying to do this on their own to not make costly mistakes. And two, it's going to help those that are working with a contractor to be better prepared when they meet with that contractor and have a little better idea of what's going to go on and how the process is going to work, and it just make it a little smoother. So when you wake up one morning and you say, you know what, I think I want to build a home, a barndominium, a regular home, a hotel, a bakery, it doesn't matter. Anything you want to build, the first thing you need to do is, where am I going to build it? When you determine that, you want to keep in mind snowbird season. What's the traffic like in the winter? Because if you're somebody that bothers, you don't want to live where I live. I promise you. Because someplace it takes me 10 minutes to get to today, another few months, it'll take me 45 minutes to get there. So you want to think about that. Utilities. There's another video. You can go back down the page here a little bit. We talked about utilities, but you want to know what's available and what is the plan. What is that local government, that city, county, whatever it is, that local jurisdiction? What is the plan for public utilities as far as sewer and water? You sure don't want to spend the money to put in a well and a septic, and then the next month they come through and make you hook up to city services. So you want those answers. And those are things you can find out, your real estate agent can find out, or your builder may help you with that. But you should get those answers when you're selecting your property. And a lot of times, a lot of builders will help you in the selection of property. We'll help you in that process. So you've selected your property, you know the traffic, you know the utilities, you know what you're getting into, you know how far is it to a power pole? There's a lot of places in Florida where it is still, in some cases, miles to the power line. So that's a big question. Pay attention. How close is the power to your property? Because that could be an expense for some people. They could get it all bought and get ready to go and find out they can't afford to get power there, and now they're in a bind. So pay attention to where is the power. Solar is an option, but some jurisdictions fight that. Some jurisdictions say, no, you have to be able to hook up to the power grid. And I don't know all the ins and outs around that. I think there are loopholes. I think there are ways around it, but I don't know them. Maybe we'll research that and make another video. So now you know all your utilities. You know this is the property. You know the flood zones. You know rivers, streams, whatever. You know that this is a good piece of property for you. The next thing is budget, because there's really no sense in designing a house you can't afford. So you need to get with somebody, and a good number to use for a barndominium is $140 a foot. They can be built cheaper, and they can cost a whole lot more, but that's a good starting number. Most people, most of our clients are looking for simpler. They don't want all the fancy things, and a lot of them can fall below that $140 a foot. So that's a good starting number to get you at. So you take, say you're going to do a 40 by 60 4 times 6 is 24. It's 2,400 square feet. 2,400 times 140. That's a good rough number to figure out where you're going to be and see if your budget allows that or not. Once you know your budget and you know that, okay, we can fit this in our budget, the next thing to do is to design your home. Now, it's a little simpler with a barndominium because you're starting with a steel structure, which is a rectangle. And so, all you need to do, like, I've got a client right now that they have paid a designer to design their home. They've paid them, I think, $1,600 to design their home. It's not engineering, it's not stamped, it's not approved, and it doesn't have to be on the interior, so it's going to work. But $1,600 is a lot for somebody to draw a couple of lines on a piece of paper. My engineer will do a full engineered set of prints for. We've got one engineer do it for $1 a foot. So, on 1,500 square feet, which is about what this other house is, for $1,500, you got a full engineered set of prints. So, that's something. There's nothing wrong with drafters and designers and what have you, but they're not necessary, especially if they're charging what engineers are charging. Really, all you need to do is sit down with a piece of paper and the dimensions that you want and draw out your rooms to what you want. Because the interior walls aren't bearing on a barndominium unless you have a 2-story. If you have a 2-story, then we have some bearing walls and you might need a little more help. That will have to be engineered because you have walls bearing the weight of the upper floor. So those drawings would have to go to the engineer. So you sure wouldn't want to use an architect to draw it and then pay an engineer to certify it. My engineer will do all of it for the same price as the other guy just drawing it. As long as you've got it drawn out, you draw out, this is what I want, and then they just create engineered prints from there. So your first step, find your land, make sure everything's good. Second step, your budget. Third step, your plan. For me to give solid numbers, we have to have the plan that we're going to build. We have a selection sheet on our website, and you can give us dimensions and we can get you close, but we need that plan we're going to build so that we can count doors, trim, our cabinet layouts. All of that needs to be set in stone for us to give you a price that's set in stone. So while you are, so once that's done, you need that design because you need to know how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms. Once that's done, then you need septic tank design. You also need to select your windows and doors, your exterior windows and doors, so that you can get energy calculations. So you've got your plan designed, then you get septic design and energy calculations. Once your septic is designed, your septic design will go to the health department for approval. So once that is done, so you've got your plans, you've got your septic design, you've got your energy calculations, and you're going to need your engineering for your building. Most of these companies we work with are going to require a deposit to get the plans for the engineering for the building. You'll have to pay the deposit on the particular building that you're getting. So then all of that goes together in a package with a bunch of other paperwork from your local building department to apply for your permit. The health departments are pretty backed up right now. So the process from the time that we sit down to the time that you have a permit is probably going to take anywhere from 3 to 6 months, just because our building departments are like, we use Land Park to do our septic designs. All of them are so backed up. Land Park won't even answer the phone right now. It's all online. You go to their website, you do everything online. Used to, I could call them, talk to them, tell them what I wanted. They won't even answer the phone. The voicemail says go to our website and submit it. They got everybody working on getting it done. Your building, once you pay the deposit, so your building is technically ordered. So that'll start that 6-month clock. because that's what to get a red iron building right now. And we're calling everybody. We're trying to find quicker times, but right now it's 6 months for red iron building. But once you pay the deposit to get those prints to get your permit, that 6 months is started. So once the permit is issued, we've done all these other things. Now our permit is issued. The first thing we're going to do is clear out the spot for the building. If there's trees, if there's shrubs, if there's palmettos, whatever there is, if there's grass, we're going to get rid of the grass. We're going to go to bare dirt and build our pad for the building. Once the pad is built, we'll dig our footings, and then the plumber will come in and run the plumbing. The reason we dig the footings first is because the plumber needs to run some lines outside of the building, and we want him to do that at the bottom of the footing. And we don't want him digging and running his lines and then our concrete guy coming back and trying to dig and do his stuff. We want the footings dug, and our plumber can just lay in the bottom. The footings are at the right depth or where they need to be, and then we'll run our steel for the footings over his pipes and form the slab, get the plumbing inspected, get the slab inspected, then we can pour the slab. Now, if you're on a large piece of property, that's it. If you're on a small lot in town, there's another step. We'll have to have the engineer or the survey company come out and mark where the slab goes, where the house is going to sit, so that we meet all of our setbacks. If you're on a large piece of property, we don't have to worry about setbacks. You're going to be well within your setbacks. But if you're on a lot in town, you have to have a survey company come, because if you miss your setbacks, you skip that step and you just pour your slab and you don't meet your setbacks, you could try to apply for a variance, but if they deny it, you got to go in and jackhammer that slab out and move it. And I've seen that happen. And we had the survey company mark it, and we had the survey company check it after we poured it, and the guy they sent out did it wrong both times, and the survey company paid to move the slab. So that's why you use a survey company to set your slab when you're on a small piece of property. Once the slab is done, the company we buy the building for, all they're going to do is bring it to us. We have to have equipment on site to unload it, and we have another company that will erect the building. During the erection process, the windows and doors will get set, and when they leave, when they are done, the building will be watertight. It will be securable. You can lock the windows and doors. Once the building is up, the next step is framing. Then electrical. Sometimes they want to come in last, so they don't want the plumbers and stuff cutting their wires. So we'll do plumbing and HVAC, depending on the setup layout of the house. Sometimes we can run them the same day. Some guys will do that, some guys won't. Once those two are done, then electrical. Then you're going to get all of that inspected. If you have bearing walls on the inside, you're going to get a framing inspection. If there's no bearing walls, there's probably still going to be a framing inspection on the list, but it's just going to be a formality. Once that is passed, then before we do insulation or anything else, if you're doing a stained concrete floor, that's the time that we're going to stain that concrete floor before we get anything on it. It's going to be easy to go in, sweep, clean it, mop it, whatever, and stain it. And then we'll just put a ram board down and protect the floor. If we stain it and seal it, it's fine, it ain't going to get hurt, but we'll still put the ram board down, protect the floor, insulate the building. The insulation's done, you have to have an insulation inspection. After the insulation inspection, we'll do the drywall. And once the drywall is done, that takes about a week. We'll set the doors. Doors and trim will go together at the same time. Then you can paint. Then we'll set cabinets. After the cabinets are set, we'll come in, template for the tops, depending on what kind of tops you're getting. That'll take about a week to 2 weeks to get the tops after they're templated. Once the tops are all installed, then you can come in, do all your plumbing, electrical trim out, HVAC trim out, start the HVAC system, and we were probably missing some little steps. We got some hardware. You got to put your door handles on and stuff. If you're wrapping your exterior columns, you can do that at any time. The septic system, we're going to install the septic system after the drywall is delivered typically. That'll be our last real heavy delivery, just to make sure some idiot didn't drive on our drain field or our tank or whatever and mess it up. Once the septic system is done, we can grade the yard, put in the landscape, put down the sod, as long as we have water, as long as the well is in. We'll put the well in. I think we skipped that. We'll put the well in. It depends on the lot, but towards the front end, we'll have the well drilled. And then after we have power to the house, we'll have the well equipment set and hooked up. That's a real common item to get stolen, so we try to hold that towards the end, so it's not sitting out there, during the construction process for somebody to come in at night and steal it. So that's pretty much the process. As far as financing, I have one guy that will do, I don't know, I'll have to find that paper where I wrote it down. He's in Arcadia. He'll do Charlotte, DeSoto, a little bit of Lee. The counties around DeSoto for the most part. But what he told me as far as financing is a lot of people are having trouble. If you own the land, Farm Credit will do it, but their loan value is real low, like 65%. Other than that, your best bet is to go to your local community bank. Just find your little local bank, the closest town to you that has a little one-off or one branch. Or maybe they got 3, 4, 5 branches, whatever, but your little small community banks, and check with them for financing. As far as insurance, I think I put this in another video, but State Farm will do your insurance. Call your local State Farm agent, as long as you're not too close to the water and as long as you're not running a business out of the home. So I think that's it. We're going to go ahead and post this video, get it up. It's going to answer a whole lot of questions, and I'll watch it. If I miss something, then we'll make another video to part 2. If you watch it and if there's a question it didn't answer, please put it in the comments so that we can make sure that we cover it. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is to make this process easier for you. I have a client right now. We've been working with them about a month, but they've been trying to do this for a year before they met us, and they are just wore out. And I even told him today, I was like, man, you sound like you're over this. Like, we don't want that. Like, we want you happy. Like, what do we need to do? And he just kind of stopped. He's like, I am over it. I've been trying to do this for a year, applying for financing. I've done this, I've done that, and and they're approved for more than they need now, but on a conventional home, and they don't want a conventional home. So don't wear yourself out trying to do this. If you find that right contractor on the front end, or do the research and know what to do before you start the process. And it's a new product still. It's relative. I mean, it's not. We built barndominiums 20 years ago. But as far as the market is concerned, it's a new product, and it's going to take time for comps to be out there. It's going to take time for the name to be recognized. So we'd be happy to help you. Put your questions down there. Contact us. Go to our website, floridabarndominiumsllc.com. You can reach us there. We've got forms. We've got information there. We're trying to add stuff to that as we can find it. So our goal is, one, to build our business. In full disclosure, we are a licensed general contractor that builds barndominiums because we like it. It's the rural lifestyle that I enjoy. Typically, the people that build those are of a different mindset, which matches mine, and it's a nice process for us. So in full disclosure, the ultimate goal is to build our business, to dominate the state of Florida in building barndominiums. But the secondary goal in that is to help make it a good process for you. It should not be a stressful process. This is the biggest thing you're ever going to do, and you should enjoy the process. And that's our goal. Is we want to make the process easier and more enjoyable for everyone, whether we're your builder or not. So again, if you've got questions, put them in the comments. We're not getting a lot of questions. I talk to a lot of people, say they watch our videos and then they ask us questions, and we'd love to just make a video and answer your questions, because I promise you, if you're wanting to ask me a question, there's 100 other people that want to ask the same question. So if we know the questions that are out there, we can make these videos and just help more people. So have a good day. I hope this helps, and once we watch it, if we miss something, we'll make another video. There's probably more to it, but this will answer a lot of them.